So I had a pretty good week last week in terms of predicting games. Yeah, last week I ended off with my record after week 2 at 26-6, only losing 2 of my games, and honestly, both of those games, honestly, I don't even know how in the world it happened. The one of the games that I lost was the Steelers versus Seahawks. The Seahawks completely, I wouldn't say obliterated the Steelers, but they did beat them 31-17, I think it was the score. Then you got the Minnesota Vikings. What in the heck happened? What happened to you all? You all lost 21-6, not even scoring a touchdown against the Falcons. What literally happened? And literally the one game that everyone expected me to lose, which was the Colts versus the Broncos, and the Colts ended up winning because of a stupid flag, and they ended up getting to re-kick their field goal, which made them win by a point. That was crazy. I don't know if I'll get that lucky this week, but I did only lose 2 games last week, and I'm pretty happy about that. But let's get further into this week's games. I have this in a Google Doc, okay? I know. Whatever. But here we're going to get into my week 3 predictions. Starting in the Dolphins versus the Bills. I mean, the Dolphins have honestly struggled a whole lot these past 2 weeks. I don't know if Tua is ever going to get on a roll or what. I don't know what's happening with them. But, the Bills are doing what the Bills do, and they just obliterate whoever's in their path. And honestly, I think there's not even a chance that the Dolphins win this game. So, therefore, you got the Bills. Next up, you got the Jaguars taking on the Houston Texans. Now, the Texans have honestly really shocked me. You all have heard my tablet going off for whatever reason. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, you have the Texans taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Honestly, this game, the Texans only have an 11% chance of winning this game, and I really want this to be their comeback week because they honestly could possibly beat the Jaguars. But looking at how they've played the past 2 weeks, honestly, and how the Jags have been doing, I don't honestly think there's a huge chance that the Texans do end up winning this game as much as I would want them to. So that's why I have the Jaguars winning this game. Next up, you got the Commanders and the Raiders. And I'm realizing that my microphone is really loud for whatever reason. So I'm going to turn that down a little bit for you guys so y'all are not sitting here with your eardrums busted out. I'm so sorry. I just realized that. Anyways, you got the Raiders and the Commanders. Honestly, I know we just clapped the Commanders last Thursday. I called it. Y'all thought it was going to be a close game. Nah. The Raiders are and the Commanders have a pretty good, solid team coming off of last year. Even though Jaden Daniels does have a slight knee injury, I'm not 100% sure if he's going to be out on Sunday when they play. But if he plays, the Commanders will win that game. But even if they don't, I do feel like the Commanders still have a pretty high chance at winning. So there you go. The Commanders beat the Raiders. Next up, you got the Falcons and the Panthers. The Panthers have struggled for years since Cam Newton left them. And the Falcons are coming off of a pretty good victory up against the Vikings, who everyone thought was going to beat them. So I think coming off of that week and considering how decently well the Falcons are, and you don't have to be an amazing team to beat the Panthers. So there you go, Falcons. I'll give you the win on that one. This next game isn't even a game. Packers versus Browns. We are literally have a 99% chance of beating the Browns. A 99% chance. What? The Browns are awful. I'm sorry, but they're god awful. So therefore, the Packers are going to win that game. Next up, that was kind of tricky on this next up game, the Broncos versus Chargers. Honestly, I know the Broncos did lose by 1 point to the Colts, and the Broncos had a pretty solid offense that game, and their defense does what they've been doing. And they had a pretty good week. They got a win in week 1, and last week was just, I think personally, it was a fluke. I think that was just a coincidence that had happened, and they ended up losing. But the Chargers are on a 2-0 streak after beating the Chiefs and then beating the Raiders last night. It was a pretty okay close game, but the Chargers still dominated the majority of the game. So I'm just going to give it to the Chargers because I feel like their team right now in this set point has a better overall team, I guess you can say. I'm not good with explaining things. Next up, you got the Cowgirls taking on the Chicago Bears. I am sorry. The Bears, honestly, I had a little bit of hope for you guys against the Lions after like the first couple of drives, and then the Lions destroyed them 52 to, what was it, 50 something to 20 something like that. Anyways, there's a blowout game, and the Cowboys, they struggled against the Giants, which, I mean, Russell Wilson had a heck of a game. I mean, a heck of a game. It's sending into overtime. The Cowboys ended up winning that game, which was a really close game. But it's the Bears, and I don't personally see the Bears winning, but if they do win, I would not be surprised considering how the Cowboys are this year and considering who they have lost. Thank you, Jerry Jones. I always have to thank you every video. I swear I do. But I'm just going to give the Cowboys the win because I don't really want to. I don't want to gamble on the Bears because you will always lose if you do that. So there you go, Cowboys. I'll give you the win on that one. I gave you the win last week, and you all about failed me. Even though I was kind of hoping the Giants was going to win because that would have been really funny. Next up, you got the Chiefs versus the Giants. I mean, come on. The Giants last week, they might have had a really good game, but I don't personally see them doing that again this week. And the Chiefs are 0-2, which hasn't happened since 2014, and they're pretty mad. I really don't care. I don't like the Chiefs. But I will give the Chiefs a win this week because it's the Giants, and it's like the Bears game. Why would I bet on the Giants against the Chiefs? I mean, come on. Who would do that? I would, but I'm not going to right now. Anyways, I give the Chiefs a win on this one. And this next game was honestly my most thought about game this week because I honestly went back and forth. Well, I'm like, okay, the Bengals might be 2-0 and the Vikings might have lost against the Falcons, but the Bengals don't have Joe Burrow this week because he's out for 3 months with turf toe. I don't know. The Bengals did not look good hardly at all this past Sunday, but they did somehow pull out a victory. And the Vikings, they really struggled against the Falcons, so I'm not really sure how well their offense is going to be considering that it's the Vikings. I'm going to give the Vikings the win, though, on this one, just solely for the purpose that Joe Burrow is out this week. And I might give the Vikings an edge. I don't know. It depends how well the Bengals offense is doing. But I think this game could honestly go either way. If I'm wrong, I won't be too sad about it because I was going back and forth all day about this game. But I'm going to give the Vikings the win just to be safe. Next up, you got the Indianapolis Colts facing the Titans. The Titans, I don't know what in the world their deal is this year. They got Cam Ward, and he has done absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Their O-line is still their O-line, and their defense is still trash. I am so sorry. As soon as you all got rid of Derrick Henry, y'all went downhill. Downhill. I'm going to give the Colts the win. They're going to be 3-0 after this week if I'm right about this, which would be really, really good for the Colts, honestly. I've been looking forward to the Colts games ever since week 1, and I was not disappointed on Sunday. It was a really good game. I was really worried, but I was like, please let me win this so that I can prove a point that I am not necessarily all wrong in these predictions. But I'm going to give the Colts a win on this one. Next up, you got Rams versus Eagles. I think it's going to be a somewhat close game, maybe the first half. I don't know. The Eagles could blow them out. The Rams do have Devontae Adams, which has been doing really good in fantasy. Thank you for that. But, the Eagles, they're 2-0. They're defending Super Bowl champions. They just knocked off the Chiefs, which it was a pretty close game. They only won by 3 points. I think it was 20-17 that game was. But, the Eagles shouldn't have a hard time against the Rams. It's the Eagles. I mean, I really don't have to give too much thought into that. Next up, you got the Steelers versus the Patriots. Now, the Patriots did win last week, and I wasn't really surprised by that considering how bad the Dolphins played the week before. But it was a relatively close game for the most part, but the Patriots did come out with a win. I was really disappointed with the Steelers because that was like the only game I lost on. No, I lost. That was the first game I lost on Sunday, and I was really disappointed by that. But I think this is their bounce back week. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come back this week, and he's going to do really good against the Patriots. I mean, the Patriots are good against bad teams, but when you got the Steelers, who lost last week somehow, I don't know. They're going to be out for vengeance. So there you go, Steelers. I'll give you the win. Next up, you got the Jets versus the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, I wouldn't say dominated the Texans, but they did beat them by quite a bit. And the Jets, they got obliterated by the Bills on Sunday. I was expecting that for sure. I don't know though. Justin Fields could do good against the Bucks, but I'm gonna deal with the Bucks considering how things have been. That's how a lot of these picks have gone, is based off how they have played the previous 2 weeks. So there you go, Bucks. Next up, the third to last game, you got this. You got the Saints taking on the Seahawks. The Saints, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they're in a tank this year, if I'm not mistaken. So they're trying to lose. And then you got the Seahawks. They come off the game last. The Seahawks don't look terrible. They actually look pretty dang good against the Steelers on Sunday. And the Saints are the Saints. Okay, Seahawks should be an easy win for them. This next game ought to be interesting. I feel like I see this game every year. Cardinals versus the 49ers. I'm not for sure if Brock Purdy's going to be playing this Sunday. I'm not too for certain on that, but the Cardinals are somehow in the top of the league right now. Make that make sense? I don't know. Just there's a bunch of other teams that are 2-0, like the Packers, but we ain't at the top of the league. None of this makes sense. But I'm going to give the 49ers the win so that they give the Cardinals their first loss of the year. I'm doing this because I'm really hoping the 49ers pull this out so that they're not in the top spot. Because it doesn't make no sense to me how the Cardinals are in the top spot right now. I know it's only week 3. Still don't make no sense. Now, the game of the week, in my opinion, is Lions versus Ravens, which is on Monday Night Football. It's going to be, I feel like, a close game. They only gave the Lions like an 11% chance or 17% chance of winning this game. But honestly, I think it's going to be pretty close considering they blew out the Bears, even though I'm not really for certain how well their offense is doing this year, because just because they blow out the Bears doesn't mean their team's good. And we stopped them pretty good the first week, even though it was the first week of football, and that's really when you're trying to figure out how your team's going to be for the rest of the year. And the Ravens, they dominated their game, but they lost the week before to the Bills. So I don't know, but I'm going to give the Ravens the win because even though the Lions might have a chance of being insanely good this week, I don't personally see them doing well enough to get a win over the Ravens, because the Ravens are always, the majority of the time, one of the top teams in the NFL. And I know the Lions have done really good the previous years. I just don't personally see them winning this game. So I'm going to give the Ravens the win. But yeah, everyone, that's going to conclude this video. These are my week 3 predictions for the NFL. And yeah, I want to hear your all's thoughts on this. What are y'all feeling? I feel pretty good. I'm 26-6 right now in the year, and I'm hoping to finish. I'm pretty certain I will finish this week with, I just hope that I'm hoping to get all of them right. I'm hoping to. I'm really striving to get a week where I get all the picks right. I was really close this week, but the Vikings sold and the Steelers sold, so whatever. Anyways, I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.